But we back in the house. Marcus, the barber with the bow tie.
And I'm Brice Davis of Brice Davis Media.
And we're up in the front of 313 Beauty Supply, Icons Barber Salon. Normally we film in the salon, but every now and then we want to give you a different look of what our store, our whole establishment looks like. Our barber tip for today is tipping. Seriously, if you have a great barber that's on time, that's reliable, that's countable, and that you trust to get you together, there should never be a problem tipping your barber. You know, I hear a lot of barbers talk about, how they've been cutting people for years and they never tip.
That's crazy.
We don't know what your pocket's like for real.
Man.
We don't know what your pocket's like, but barbers don't get raises. We pretty much keep our prices the same for years at a time before we go up in our prices. So keep that in mind. Most people on salary, you might get an annual raise, maybe biannual. Barbers and stylists don't. So, do a little extra for those that do a little extra for you. If you got a barber that go out his way, go on and tip it, throw in a couple of extra dollars to show him or her you appreciate their service.
Yeah. And today's topic, man, we gotta talk about hustlers, man.
Hustlers.
Yeah, we gotta talk about what makes a hustler, what a hustler looks like, just anything pertaining to hustlers, man.
What's the definition of a hustler?
For me, it's a go-getter. To me, it's somebody that has motion, and by motion, you got things going on. Like every day you think about money, like you have a hustler's mentality, like, yo, I gotta get it, I gotta grind. Like I ain't just sitting around chilling with my friends for no reason,
Right.
smoking, wasting time. I mean, that's what you do to relax, cool, but just smoke and be unproductive and not using the most of your time, to me that's counterproductive. And
Right.
to me that takes away from being a hustler. And to me it's not just about, slanging weight, To me, anybody can be a hustler, whether you work a 9 to 5 or not, But Marcus, what would your definition of a hustler be?
I mean, what's understood need not be explained, but ultimately, even Webster or Google defines hustler like what you said, an aggressively entrepreneuring person, a go-getter. That's the definition. You know what I mean? Somebody who's aggressive about their entrepreneurship, I know guys who are hustlers from knee high, you know what I mean, to a grasshopper. And I admire those guys. I think I became a hustler late in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get it twisted. I always had a good job. I was one of those kids who worked.
You sold candy in the lunch line back in the day?
Yep.
That's usually how it starts.
Yep. Back in the day, we used to have blow pops and Jolly Ranchers. That's when Jolly Ranchers used to be like a long, hard, taffy-like candy. And we would melt the Jolly Rancher down and wrap it around the blow pop and freeze it, and then we'd sell it. Back then, blow pops was like 25 cents, but we'll sell it for 75 cents.
Yeah, Kroger used to have it's not there no more, but the aisle with the candy has got the scoop, and you know what I'm saying? You can buy it wholesale, and you go to school and just double your money up. And, anybody that knows how to flip something, to me, that's a hustler for sure.
Respect. I think anybody with work ethic, you know what I mean? Anybody who can punch the clock 9 to 5, that's a hustler. I mean, don't get it twisted. I'm paying homage to the people who work every day, but there's an average, and then there's the average, and then there's the above average. And most times a hustler describes the above average work ethic. You know what I mean? Somebody, like you said, who got a few irons in the stone. I think it takes organization, an ability to organize to be a hustler too.
For sure.
We get a lot of those coming through, man. So pay homage to the guys out here that's getting it legally, especially, and the guys who know how to bend the rules a little to get it and provide for their family.
Is there a way that you can look at somebody and tell?
I guess it just depends on the region, the city, the state you in. Everybody got their style.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember back in the day, growing up, the dress code was for us, we wore either, there was a group of us that wore like Jabos, Guess jeans, Levi jeans. You know what I mean? I'm going back. And then it was a group of us that wore khakis and Dickies.
What's crazy is there was a time where, at least, when I was growing up, Levi's was looked at a certain way because Walmart sold it. Now you go and buy Levi's,
I
You
mean,
spending some paper.
in Cali, Levi's have always been
Always been
top
a
notch.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
We had this place called Miller's Outpost, and right on Robertson,
Yeah.
and we used to go out there, man. That used to be fun. It was, but then you learn what the tag on the back of the Levi sign mean, and then you wonder, can you still support? Most of these companies from old were founded on racism and slavery, so they have emblems and logos that reflect that. The back of the Levi tag is a depiction of two horses ripping a man apart. If you've never looked at the back of your, they probably changed it by now, but if you never noticed that, check it out.
And back in the day too, or at least when I was coming up, dress code was kind of trash. Like a lot of dudes was wearing the big T-shirts, the 5X, you know, the whole "You Up in My White Tee" song was hot.
You was a '90s
It
kid.
was it was
Right.
an ugly era. Like everybody had on baggy clothes, baggy jeans. Like nobody could really dress back then. And
I mean, that was my era though. We was live with the baggy jeans, the FUBU, the Carl Kanai, the cross colors. You know what I mean? Even Levi even made the baggy cut. I think it was the what was it?
It was cool then, but and looking back at it, it just looked crazy. Like
Leah looked good in baggy clothes, and we knew she was sexy. Leah, though, you know? She didn't have to be showing her. All she showed was her little belly button and that one eye. You feel me? Yeah. And it was sexy. Baggy clothes, Aaliyah. Look back. Ladies, learn something.
And don't forget, down there on the West Coast, you know, they was wearing tight jeans and biker clothes and all that. But we ain't got to talk about that.
Hey, Salt-N-Pepa wore biker shorts on the East Coast, too, so don't get it twisted. JJ Fast, shout out to y'all and the biker shorts and the stretch pants. But nowadays, they working around in yoga pants. I mean, that's part of the main dress code with women nowadays. Yoga pants with the phone pocket, showing your shape with your little sweater or hoodie on over it. You know, we got the athletic look now.
Yeah. Just to switch it over a little bit, let's talk about insanity, man. Different ways do you see insanity manifest itself within people?
Oh, man, I done been insane in my once or twice in my day. I mean, you know,
I think we all have, especially in our earlier years. You know what I mean?
Doing the same thing, expecting different results can be reflected in anything. It could be reflected in the type of women you like. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
we got a type of woman that we like, and
to me, that's a reflection of what you are and who you are. Like, is the partner you choose? I think that's a reflection of you.
Right.
A lot of people like to go online and bash their significant others or their exes, and to me, everything you say about them just reflects on you.
Right.
You know, there's people out there that, you know, look at it like that. Not everybody, because everybody's emotional intelligence ain't that high. You know what I'm saying? Like they, you know.
Man, I've been hearing that word used so much lately. Emotional intelligence. I had to buy. I didn't buy the book. A friend of mine photocopied her copy of the book, Emotional Intelligence 2.0. I'm still trying to decipher. You know what I mean? Trying to learn how to. I think growing your emotional intelligence requires a lot of shadow work, man. I mean, it requires you to really deal with yourself in a way that requires a whole lot of personal honesty. You know what I mean? You gotta keep it real with yourself. Emotional intelligence is something I think women grow up with more than men because they're used to talking to each other all the time. You know what I mean?
More sociable.
You know, brothers, we don't reflect emotional intelligence as a natural
I would say in a different way.
As a natural skill, yeah. Well, our emotional intelligence, having intelligence of our emotions, I don't know that we are taught that. I think we grow up learning how to deal with that, especially the more educated we are, the more once we become parents, if we are in tune to our children.
I think that's also what makes somebody males more masculine is when they tend to ride with their logic over their emotions rather than emotions being their default go-to when a situation occurs. You know, rather something happens to you and you're reactive. Sometimes reactiveness is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's why we have emotions, you know, to feel the right situation. It's just being in control of them and knowing, you know, what's for what, when to use it as fuel. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, girl cheated on you or dumped you, like hit the gym, you know, do something about it.
Right.
Better, job or something,
I mean, I don't know. well, I'm learning that men are becoming a lot. We're becoming a, and when I say men, I mean black men, because we grow up in an unstable household. We grow up, most of us, with the impression of our mothers. So
Yeah.
we reason, we kind of start reasoning like them. We kind of argue like them. We kind of respond like them until we are included in an environment of men and
Yeah.
shown how to reason
Because
and
ultimately,
deal with that
when you get into
accordingly.
an argument with your woman, like there has to come a point where you gotta know when to exit the conversation. Because
Right.
if you just mirror her energy, next thing you know, you all combative and what they call sassy. I don't go around using that word, but women call everything sassy.
Yeah,
Man, listen,
listen.
I seen a nigga blow into a birthday candle, and in the comments it's like, "Oh, it's sassy to blow out birthday candles." Like, where are we going, man? Where are we going?
Well, I do believe there is a new type of dude, and I'm always referring to us, the copper tan man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dudes are sassy nowadays. They talk what they, I feel like you sassy when I talk to you and you don't respond. When I talk to you, I don't care how old you are. If you're a young man, you 15.
So we're just replacing feminine with sassy pretty much for the most part. Like,
Listen, no, not necessarily.
no?
No,
Okay.
not necessarily. Not feminine. That's not a feminine trait. That's sassy. Like,
Okay, I thought it was the same.
it's some hardcore dudes out here that'll look at you when you talk to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, bruh, I said, what's up? You know what I mean? Respect. Men acknowledge other men.
Yeah.
Game recognize game type. You know what I mean? So, but it's mostly in these little dudes though. You'll hear their mother say, "Didn't you hear him say something to you?"
Yeah.
And I feel like that's
You're
being
supposed
sassy.
to correct that at the door though, like when they're younger. Like that's when you're supposed to correct all that. Make sure you speak when somebody speaks to you. I understand stranger danger to an extent, but you gotta know when to
Stranger
talk.
danger is, hey man, come over here. Let's, you know what I mean? Here's some
Yeah.
candy. Here's
Yeah.
here's some money. Come get in the car. That's stranger danger. Don't do none of that. But if somebody be like, "What's up? Greetings,
Yeah.
young brother,"
Yeah.
and he looks you in your eye, and you just respond back, "Greetings. What's
Yeah.
up?"
Yeah, most kids need to be taught that because for whatever reason, I experienced that today here, as a kid. I was walking by, I looked a little lost. I said, "What's up?" Just in case he may have needed some type of help. And,
Right.
just kept moving and, it is what it is.
Right.
But,
Right. I be wanting to pop him on the forehead, man. Like, people be like, "You're old."
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the old man who's telling you to get
Yeah,
off
you
his
already
yard.
know.
Get out my yard. Get off my lawn. Did you see me? Just don't step on my grass.
Yeah.
What was dude from Friday?
Man. Stanley.
Was it Stanley? Yeah.
Was it Stanley? I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like, he said something like, "Yeah, get off the." Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that I was about to say that was kind of disrespectful, but that was a nice way to ask somebody. But there is a way to go about it, right? Like for me, if I was him, because they ended up disrespecting him later in the movie,
Right.
probably because of that. But
Right.
yeah,
they
like
ended up robbing him.
man, yeah, like man, I can't stand when somebody get in my grass. Like there's ways to go about it, but at the same time, if you got to think too hard about it, then it ain't worth doing all that. Just
Right.
I just tend to blurt it out if I gotta think so hard. It's kind of like filtering conversation because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. If you gotta do all that, I'd rather not talk to you.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like
I'm working on being filtered. Like all my life, I've been told you need to learn how to say certain things. You know what I mean? And I still need to learn how to say certain
yeah.
things.
Well, we all reach a point where we end up getting domesticated, especially at a young age. Like my daughter now, she see somebody that's big and be like, "Oh, he eats too much."
Right.
And I've
Right.
heard her say that.
Right.
And at some point, what she's saying ain't a cap, it ain't a lie, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't maneuver through life talking like that because, somebody's going to get with you. So, I was
Well,
telling her,
I think that's a certain level of
polemic.
cordiality. You know what I mean? That and respect for a person's person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we teach our kids because the thought is still there. You still grown. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You.
Oh, yeah, we do it all the time.
We joke. We might not be. We might joke to each other or even joke to ourselves about somebody that we consider jokeable. But
yeah,
all in all, we need to all be respecting each other.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like
Kids are some of the meanest. Kids are some.
what?
I mean, I think it's just a true altruism of them, but for the most part, kids are the most vicious,
To me,
meanest.
they're the most authentic.
Right.
That's the
Right.
most authentic version of you that you're gonna be is when you're a kid, because you don't know no better unless you have parents that was just on you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying, at an early age, and it's like, yeah, don't do this, 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 and that. But for the most part, they say what's on their mind, deal with the repercussions later.
Later, right.
But that's also how we grow, because you know what I'm saying. When you're like third grade, you're gonna say something to the wrong person, and that's when you learn where you sit at in the food chain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, that kid pop you in the mouth, you're gonna learn, yo, you can't just go around calling people names. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's somebody always bigger and better than you. You know what I'm saying?
Or you'll learn that you can.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
That. Yeah.
Because sometimes it be like that. You know, you think, yeah, no, I really wasn't trying to be mean, but now that the challenge is here, you know what I mean? Now that I beat you up, now I'm going to say what I'm going to say about them and you.
And kids that had it early, like elementary days, that's the ones that know. Like, because some people, they don't fight back till puberty hits. You know what I'm saying? Until they go through that growth spurt. Now they like, oh yeah, you mess with me, it's on. Like, ain't no all that going on no more. But if you go through puberty, you about 16 years old and you still ain't fighting back,
you better be a lover.
Yeah, or get a gun. No, I'm playing. I ain't advocating all that, but you gotta figure something out. It's survival of the fittest out here.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of survival of the fittest, the dating game. You like the sites?
Oh, the dating apps.
Dating apps. Yeah. You know, I'm a little old school. I've never.
Yeah, that's the new way. That's how a lot of people are meeting nowadays is through a dating app. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So what's the big thrill of the dating app? I mean, are you actually used to meeting chicks in a club or in outings?
Yeah. So what really got me into it, obviously, is since my daughter lives with me, I'm not able to mingle outdoors as much. So I found an alternate way. And don't get me wrong, I was still on the dating apps way before I had a kid and whatnot. But that's like the new way to. It has nothing to do with being like nervous of meeting somebody in person, because it is 10 times easier to just DM somebody. There's no face-to-face interaction. There's no nervousness. You can't read each other's body languages. But that also makes it a tad bit more difficult because you have no idea how this person feels and how they interpret information from you. And it's just a lot different than in person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not even like the person you're talking to as much because you've seen them with a filter on, think they look good, then you go and see them in person and be like, oh shoot, a camera had a little less pounds on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That type situation. But that's been some of my experiences. Is it's just a whole different animal.
So in that dating world, what's the green flags? Like, I mean, cause see, for me, normally growing up, you meet girls at school in your neighborhood. I don't see kids out nowadays, but I'm not in that world, so I don't know. But you normally you are around a particular couple of people long enough to where you get to know them. You know what their habits are. Yeah. You might have a friend in common. Yeah. You use the middleman thing to pass messages.
So it just bumped in my head too. It's like, you even talk differently through a message than you would in person, right? And I'm gonna give you a perfect example, right? So, once I was out of town, the girl up there, right? We got to talking, we got each other's number, got to texting, right? So the funny thing is, some of the things that you would say in person ain't gonna fly the same in a message, you know what I'm saying? So dating apps is like similar. Like, some things just don't sound as good in a text as in person.
Like what?
So oh man, you put me on the spot with that.
Right. I'm curious. I don't know.
Like super corny, but it's like sometimes I have a problem with being aggressive in a text in a way. Like I like to talk shit. Like
right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not a way to flirt through a screen. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know how to interpret it as joking. Like, I'm totally joking as I'm saying.
Oh,
this,
yeah.
you might not know because you don't really know me, so you don't know that that's how I play or how I talk. So you might look at it as, oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, you know what? Yeah. So I know I definitely understand what you're talking
I'm
about,
definitely like that 100%.
and a lot of times I'm coming full fledged aggressive from the start. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Just to weed out and just to test the waters. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, and that's another thing. You gotta be aggressive up front, in my opinion, on the maps. Because if you don't, right, like you could type away. You can talk to her for days on there. And to me, being aggressive as you should be is within the first day. Like, yo, let's plan on meeting up. Like,
right,
let's get together. Because if you play it safe and you just talking on the side and you ain't really, you're just playing it safe for the most part, she gonna look at you a certain way. And on top of that, she's already talking to 5 other dudes. So
right,
you're just gonna be at least three of the dudes that's just talking to her. At least
right,
2 of them's gonna be like, "Hey, yo, let's meet up Friday night and get a drink." Now, to me, that's the best approach because that's how you know they're not wasting your time.
right.
Because they'll talk to you forever and it lead to nothing. So
Mm,
I learned like, yeah, just on the first time y'all speak, if you got the time, just set up a date. If she
right.
don't want to set up the date, it's not worth it, in my opinion. Because I've known some guys that talked on the app for like a week or two, you know what I'm saying, and then met up. But me, nah.
One thing I can say, in most situations, once she's giving you once she's giving you the go. You know what I mean? Like her interest, once she lets you know she's
Yeah, you gotta read them signs.
right. You gotta make a move. They don't mind you being a little uh uh assertive, so to speak. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I
You
don't
gotta
want
be. That's the word. Better word.
right. I don't want to
Aggressive is
use the word
assertive.
aggressive
Yeah,
when
assertive
it
is a
comes
better
to
word.
dealing with women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because now even chasing women is different. They don't like to be like back in the day. We could call, we could stop by, leave a note on the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Women don't like that stuff anymore. From what I hear, they just want you to get to the point. They want to know.
So,
I mean, that's just my experience. I could be wrong.
yeah.
You know, so green signs. You know,
But in person though, I'll feel a situation out. Like if I meet somebody in person, I ain't rushing to get your number and all that. Like I'll have a conversation with you and try to read the flow of things rather than on the app, trying to
right,
get straight to it. Because you know on the app why I'm here. In
right,
person, you don't know that person. Like they might just be wanting to get a drink or they might have a boyfriend.
right.
Sometimes that just game to get you away from them.
That's a good point.
Sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
So
Yeah,
that's the major differences in my opinion of online and offline approaching, you know what I'm
man. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that.
saying? Right.